it's Misty Doan. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited about our project today. It's going to be really fun. I'm kind of getting hooked on these pre-cut, pre-fuse applique projects. This is my latest project that we've designed using those pre-cut, pre-fuse shapes, and it makes it so quick and easy. And I just think this turned out really great. It says merry and bright. It would be great for a table runner or over a door or even on your porch to help celebrate the holidays. So it's really fun and simple. We also have a great printable that will give you all of the shapes if you so desire, but I recommend picking up a pack of these pre-cut, pre-fused shapes. And so let me show you what that looks like if you purchase the pack. So it's pretty awesome because what we mean by pre-cut, pre-fused is each of your shapes is already laser cut and backed with the fusible web that you need to applique this to your project. And so all you have are these little notches that holds all of your shapes together, and you just go through and clip those apart, and then you're ready to start appliquing. And so I have all of mine cut and ready to go. Let me show you what we've got here. We have our letters that spell out merry and bright, and this is our big ampersand that goes in the middle. We have 5 different colors of bulbs. Let me show you here. We've got green, red, this cute aqua, light pink, and yellow. And then we have the base of our bulbs, and that is what is included in the pre-cut, pre-fused pack. So in addition to that pack, you're also going to need a 1/2 yard of your background fabric, that's this white, and then a 1.5 yards of this aqua or whatever color you want to pull out for your border, binding, and your backing of the quilt. And so that's really all you need. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. And then I also used this quick bias to do the string of my lights. I found this to be so easy. Originally I thought, oh, maybe I'll use rickrack, which I still think would be adorable. But the quick bias, the reason I like it is it's also pre-fused. It has the fusible web on the back of it. And so it just makes this whole project come together so quick. So let's talk about how we're going to put this together now. Let me move these out of the way and we can dive right in. To begin, the first thing we want to do is prep our background piece. And I actually cut my 1/2 yard into a 15-inch strip by the width of fabric. And so that's what I have here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off my selvages. So let's line this up. Make sure everything is nice and neat. And then I'm going to move these out of my way because we don't want to cut through our little pieces. That would be a sad day. And then I need to measure over. Since I have this folded in half, I want this to end up being 42 inches long. So since I need half that, I'm going to measure over 21 inches and make a cut. Let me grab my ruler here. There we go. And so that's our little bit of waste from that. And then our background piece is ready to go. So to start with, I've got this center line pretty well pressed, but I want to just make that nice and neat so I don't have any other tucks from the fold of the fabric. So we're going to give it a press this direction. And then I'm also going to fold this in half longwise and press a line that direction. And this is just to give me some reference points for where I'm going to put my pre-cut, pre-fused shapes. And so just line it up. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just close so that you've got that line right down the middle of your background piece. So we're just going to press and keep going all the way down the length of the background, that 42 inches that we cut. There we go. All right, now that I have this pressed, I'm going to move my pressing mat actually to the center so that I have it underneath my background fabric. so that I'm not having to transfer this very much when I go to press my shapes. And so to begin, I'm just going to take that big ampersand, since I know that's the middle, and it does have a paper backing that we want to remove. And so there's a couple things you can do. You can take a pen and score that paper, but I just find that if I crease it, it will just lift up, and I can grab a hold of that and peel it right off, just like so. And so then I'm going to start, like I said, by putting that right in the middle, just like so. And then I can start peeling off my letters. So here is my Mary. And I'm just going to work in both directions here to put all of my pieces in place. The little backing paper kind of sticks to you sometimes. And I'm just getting them close right now. I'm going to go back and readjust these as we go. I'm just going to go ahead and slide that over because I'll probably fuse this half first. And I just do a little section at a time to make this really manageable. Now, if you decided that you want to offset your letters or, make them kind of wonky, you could totally do that. This is the step that you would do that. You would put them wherever you desire on your background. And I love that the shapes that we've given you, you have lots of options with how you want to string them, how far apart you want to put your lights. It gives you a lot of flexibility. And so I really just eyeball. I like that the font that we used here has this little notch that I can kind of use to make sure that I'm staying centered there as I'm going along. And then I think that looks really nice. And so now we just want to take a nice hot iron, and I am going to slide this off of my cutting mat. It's supposed to be protected, but I just never want to risk it, and I recommend you don't either. And we're just going to lift and press. You want to make sure you don't drag your iron across these because obviously you don't want to risk shifting the shapes that you've put down. And you don't want any of that adhesive to stick to your iron. So we are truly just press and lift, press and lift. You just need to hold it for 3 or 4 seconds and then kind of come back and check and make sure all of your edges, I've got one little loose edge there, so I'm going to give that another press just to make sure everything is good and fused. And that looks really great. And so now we can continue with our other half to spell out bright. And I will do that really quick. And you can see how having these pre-cut, pre-fused shapes really makes this go so fast. If you had to trace and iron on the fusible and cut all of these out on your own, you can see how it would take time. Although, if that's the route you want to take, these are really easy curves. Oops, I missed this little part where the letter is hooked together, so that's a great thing to watch for. We'll just cut these little notches that hold them together. I know it seems really small, just like a thread or two that's holding those, but I do recommend that you trim those, don't pull them, because you don't want to risk snagging your shape or having a snag line in there after you've gone to all the trouble to have this look so cute. So here is our last letter. And again, I'm just gonna make sure I like the spacing. Have these all lined up. I think that looks really good. And so again, nice hot iron, press and lift. I'm going to slide this over a little bit. Make sure I'm not pressing on top of my cutting mat. go. And voila, we are like halfway there. So quick and easy. All right, let me throw all these papers away, and then I'll show you how we're gonna add the lights, because this is really, really fun. So it's 42 inches long. So what I did, you can see here on our finished runner, I've just got 3 swags of lights. And so this is where if you wanted to add a few more, you could change the number of swags, but the number of lights that we've given you gives you just the right amount to have one of each color on 6 different swags of lights. So you can see that's what we've done here. And so we're gonna just divide the top and bottom of our long strips into thirds. And so 42 divided by 3 gives us 14. So I've just got a pin, and I'm gonna measure over 14 inches from each end. I'm just gonna make a little mark, just a reference point. And you don't have to worry about it because we are going to be sewing right over that. So we're gonna cover up that pin mark. And I'm gonna turn it and do it from this other side. So 14 inches, make a little mark, and again down here. Just like so. And so that is where we need each of our swags to end up. We're gonna start on the outside, and they're gonna go across to each of those points. So now we can use our quick bias and cut some strips to get that ready to go. So in order to get the swag, I cut this just a little bit longer. So we're actually gonna cut 6 16-inch strips of quick bias. And I've lost my rotary cutter, there it is. And since this is just so skinny, I just kind of lay these across and cut through them. You could use scissors if you want, but they're really quick. There we go. Oops, missed a little piece. And one more. Whoops, make sure that's nice and straight. There we go. And so you can see from one roll of this quick bias, you're gonna have the ability to do lots of these. It goes a long way. I can't even remember exactly how much is on here, but it is a lot. So you have that ready to go. And so now, just like we did with our pre-cut, pre-fused shapes, we're going to do the same thing with the quick bias. You can see it's got this little paper edge on the back. That's that fusible paper. So we're going to take that off just like we did on our shapes. It peels off just the same. And then we're going to start on the outside corner. And I like to go ahead and place my other side there on my mark. And then we just gently ease this into place. And because it's bias, it really curves nicely and lays beautifully on our project. And so I just do that like so. And you can see here, I do have it hanging over the edges just a little bit, and I'll go back and trim that off. I just want to make sure that I'm going to catch all of this in my seam when I add the border, so I don't have any little stitches that are going to poke through. So I just let that hang over. And then this has like a little bit more stickiness to it. So you could press this here, but I found that I can actually just kind of work my way across this, and then I can go back and press it all at once. So I'm going to add the second one. Just the same, starting on that point, putting my end, and then gently working that curve so that it lays nice and smooth to go back and add our lights, I should say, sorry. And if you decide it's a little long, you can always trim it, but this gives you plenty to work with. There we go. I just kind of run my fingers along that, and then we'll do one more. Oops. There we go. And the reason I don't press them initially is because I like to make sure that I'm happy with how all three of them are lined up across. And so I might just go back and adjust this one a smidge, maybe make that with a little bit more overhang at the top so that the swags are all a little bit more even. And I think that looks really nice, so we can go ahead and press this. Same idea. We don't want to do too much pushing around and risk rolling this. Just press it with a nice hot iron. Okay, and now you would repeat the exact same steps along the bottom. I'm just going to do the top so I can move on and show you guys the lights. So let me move these out of the way. Throw my trash away. Okay, so like I mentioned, with each swag, you know you're going to have one light of each color. And so I've got my aqua, my red, my yellow, green, and pink that's going to go. And then I'm also going to need one of the little bases of the bulbs. And so I left all of these attached because I find these are really easy to lose. And so I just go right as I need them and I cut these off right then because I don't want to risk losing them. So we'll just cut out 5 of these little rectangles. There we go. And now we can peel the paper off of all of these, and we're going to place these with the exact same idea as our letters. And so I just kind of start and work my way across and just get all the paper off first. I do like to kind of tuck the edge of the rectangle under the quick bias. It has like a little edge that you can kind of sneak that under, and then I put my bulb under the rectangle. I just did that every time, and I thought by doing that it would make sure we don't have unnecessary gaps where our background fabric is peeking through. So now we'll just keep moving across with our red. Again, I just kind of lift that edge slightly with my nail, tuck that under, and then put the bulb under the other edge. And you're going to have to go back and adjust these, but I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing these now, so it's just really fun to add these in. And the yellow one. I love the kind of vintage vibes with these nice big Christmas bulbs. It's just so fun. And every time I do one of these projects, I am reminded just how quick and easy they come together. It's just so satisfying to be able to start and finish a project all in the same day. There we go. Here's our last one. Oops. Tried to keep the paper and not the fabric. There we go. And so you can see how quick that comes together. And I do, at this point, press my bulbs on before I move to the next section. And so let's just gently move this over to my pressing mat. And you can see they have enough of a stick to the backing that they don't really move too much as long as you're careful. But if you feel the need, if you have to go super far to press, just put a pin in there and that'll be totally fine. And I am just going to triple check, make sure I like where everything is, and then we'll go back and we will press those down. Just like that. The thing that I always have to check on these is that the very tips of the bulbs are good and fused, and it looks like they all are now. And you can see how simple this will be to just continue all the way across and follow the same idea along the bottom. So this is how it looks all finished up. I do want to mention, you can notice these little kind of bursts that are coming off that and sign in the middle. I wait till the very end, again, because those are really small. So those look like this in your package, kind of like cat whiskers. And so we can just cut those out. And before I add my borders, this is the very last thing I would add before we top stitch and do any of that. So let's just talk about placing these on there real quick before we move on. All right, so you can see they're just really small, skinny pieces. And so because I don't want to risk losing them, like I said, I wait till the very end. And so now that I'm ready for them, we can just peel that paper, go ahead and move this over to our pressing mat. And then I do one little burst kind of coming out of the top, not directly on top, kind of to the side. And then another one. We can just go ahead and fuse that, just like so. You can see just how easily everything sticks. It comes together so, so nice. So let's talk about this finished project a little bit to show you what we did here. So I just top stitched with black thread all the way down, and then I went around my rectangles and down and around the rectangles on my bulbs and just like that, down. And then I just top stitched here. I did not use a fancy stitch because the machine that I love and use every day is just a straight stitch. And I knew that because this is a holiday runner and I probably won't actually use it for a table runner, I'm going to use it more for a wall hanging. I didn't feel like it needed to be quite as durable. If you are going to put this on your table, this would be a great time to use a blanket stitch or a decorative stitch to really secure all of your edges. And then with your bulbs, you can either match those bulb colors or use an invisible thread, or even a white right along the edge is going to look great because your background is white. And so it's really forgiving. You can do any of those options, and I think you'll be really happy with the result. But by far, the top stitching takes the most time of this whole project, and it just depends on how detailed you want to get, how much time you're going to put into that. But it comes together so nice, and then we just added a little 2.5-inch border all the way around the edge, backed it with that same pretty color, bound it with that. And then let's just point out this really cute light quilting pattern that we did. It's just perfect for this with the bulbs on the front. So I just think it turned out so cute. Wishing you a very merry and bright holiday season as it's approaching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this project using our pre-cut, pre-fuse applique shapes, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.